Hi. So I'm Susan Gleaton. I'm a registered dietitian and certified leap therapist. And this is Brittany, one of my clients. And I just want to let you know right off the bat that Brittany is not being paid to say anything or anything like that. She just wants to share her story of what she did with me. And so let me just back up just a minute and tell you what a certified leap therapist is, and then you'll understand what we've done. So, a certified leap therapist is somebody who has had training in interpreting the MRT food sensitivity test results and applying the protocol called LEAP for the clients to do. And I can tell you from doing this, like hundreds, I don't even know how many people I have walked through the LEAP protocol, that every single person is different and every single person's results are unique. And so the protocol is going to be totally different for different people just because they have different circumstances, they have different health conditions. And so it's always going to be different. So, all of that is just to say that if you decide after you hear Brittany's story that you want to do the MRT testing, which is food sensitivity testing, to please seek out a certified LEAP therapist, order your testing through them, and then go through the process, go through the protocol with them so that you get the very best results. And I'll give you info at the end on how you can um, find out about how to do the MRT test if you decide that you want to do that. So Brittany came to me in October, and she was actually seeking out food sensitivity testing. And so, Brittany, can you just tell me what you were going through? What or were you seeking out food sensitivity testing? I put that in there. I thought you were,
Yes.
but maybe you weren't. I don't know.
I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's and had been dealing with it for several years and had these symptoms that would not go away, such as brain fog, anxiety, um, trouble losing weight, being tired all the time, stiffness and achiness in my joints and muscles, and a couple others. And so I started doing my own research, and I read in a book to look into food sensitivity and try to heal your gut and figure out what foods are good for you and what foods are bad for you to try to help with some of the symptoms that come along with Hashimoto's. And so through that, I was talking to my mom, and she was the one that found Susan for me through her hairstylist, actually. And so then I just reached out to her, and she did the exact test that I was looking to do, which was the MRT test. And so that is how I ended up calling.
Okay, cool. So you mentioned you had Hashimoto's and that you'd already done a bunch of research on your own. Now, and that you had brain fog and some joint pain and stuff like that. Had you already decided to go gluten free before you saw me?
I had tried to do gluten free a couple times for about a 3 month span, but through this process, I learned that I probably wasn't gluten free because I didn't know all of the things that gluten can be hidden in.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so I did get some help by doing the gluten free for 3 months. I did it two separate times, and it did help, but I then kind of gave up because it didn't help enough, I guess.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, sometimes it's just not enough. So, what were you hoping? Um, like when you decided, yeah, I'm going to do food sensitivity testing. So, what were you hoping would happen?
I would say I was hoping to just get rid of any of the symptoms. Just if I just got rid of one, I would be happy. I just wanted to do something to feel better. The medical doctors that I've been seeing said that there was nothing else for me to do besides be gluten free and take my medication every day and then just live with my symptoms. And through my research, I decided I'm not just going to live with my symptoms. I'm going to try to do something.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So tell me, what was the process like of getting tested?
It was really easy. The phlebotomist came to my house and did the drew the blood and sent off the test, and then you contacted me that you got the results and that I was ready to come in. So it's super easy.
Okay, cool. So, did anything surprise you on those test results when you first saw them in my office? Because we
Mhm.
saw each other in person. Um, so, what did anything surprise you?
I expected it to be worse than what it ended up being. I expected to have way more highly reactive foods and that it to be just more severe than it actually ended up being.
Okay. So this is Brittany's test results. I know you can't see everything on there, but you might be able to see. I know it's backwards. That there's greens and yellows, and there could be reds, but she didn't have any reds. And I explained to Brittany that it doesn't, not having reds doesn't mean you don't feel bad. You can be kind of high green on these test results to a food, but if you're eating it every single day, then it's making you feel bad every single day. So it's really more how much you eat these foods that affects and how it affects your immune system as to how you're going to feel. So, after we discussed the results, then you got to decide when you wanted to start
Hmm.
the whole protocol. Did you
Yep.
start right away? Did you?
No, I believe I had a trip or something coming up, and
Okay.
so I waited until I returned from my trip.
Okay. And so, how did it go when you started?
The first 2 weeks were pretty challenging. I guess the first couple days I felt confident, like, oh, no big deal. But you are pretty or I was pretty limited in the beginning of
Mm-hmm.
what I could eat, and it wasn't what I was used to eating at all. And so it was a little bit hard to continue to have an appetite and
Yeah.
to do it. But I had decided I was going to dedicate this time to following through with it and just do what I could to make it through. And you helped me by just encouraging me and giving me different ideas of what I could do to switch up the things that I was eating to make them taste better and
Yeah.
to just get through the first couple weeks.
Right. So just so you know, so when Brittany met with me, I gave her a list of foods that she could eat. And so that's it right there. So you can see in that first column for days 1 through 12, she could only eat those foods on that list. Only those foods, nothing else. And so that's what she's talking about. We're talking really limited. And so, Brittany, how did you feel after your first 12 days? This was 12 days. Well, let me just back up. When Brittany started, she did a symptom survey. I don't have a picture of that, but it's a total of inflammatory type symptoms, and her score was 58. And then she actually came to see me on day 9,
Mhm.
and her score was 2. Do you happen to remember how quickly you noticed any results?
I would say probably after the first week, I really started to see everything changing and getting better. And I lost 8 pounds in 9 days of just water weight.
Wow. Isn't that
And
something?
so that was a huge deal to me to see my, like specifically my hands and my ankles of
Mm-hmm.
what they were truly supposed to look like every day without the extra water retention. And my joints and stuff, everything just felt way, way better.
Yeah, yeah. I said that incorrectly. Her initial score was 58, and on day 9, it was 25
Hmm.
when she came. But then she came back 2 weeks later, and that is when her symptom survey was 2. And we happened to figure out there was another little condition that didn't get helped with the MRT test and the LEAP protocol. And so sometimes that happens, but it's really beneficial to do the whole process because it's kind of like you have a really dirty windshield and then you just wipe off all the symptoms that are caused by inflammation. She had a few symptoms left. We determined that wasn't caused by inflammation, which gave us the opportunity to look into, well, what can we do for these remaining symptoms? And so Brittany's in the process of reaching out to people to figure out what to do. But symptom survey score going down from 58 to 2. Any complaints with that?
No,
No.
very, very
Yeah,
happy.
I wouldn't think so. So, anyway, do you have anything to add to that?
I would say if you have tried a bunch of different things, this is one more to still try, to not give up on it. I had tried different things and went to multiple doctors to first even get diagnosed with Hashimoto's or to figure out what was going on. So, my biggest thing that I tell people, if you don't feel right, if you don't feel healthy, don't stop. Keep searching for something that will help you. And if you have anything that you think is caused by inflammation or anything going on, I would highly suggest trying the MRT test. It has changed my life. I feel like I'm my age again and have the energy I feel like I'm supposed to. I feel great, and I can't believe that it was as simple as doing a diet for a few months, and it completely changed my life. And the first 2 weeks are hard, but after that, it's exciting because you get to start adding in all
Yeah.
the foods that you like and that you want, and you get to learn so much about yourself and your body, and it's all been so worth it to
Yeah.
go through the process.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I have to add that Brittany went through the Christmas holidays
Yeah,
doing this. She had a pretty good variety of
Thanksgiving and
foods.
Christmas and New
Yeah.
Year's, I survived
So,
it all.
yeah, so she is like star. So I told you I'd tell you how to find out how you can do the MRT if you feel so inclined. One way, just go on my website. So that's susangleatonrd.com and get in touch with me. I see people in my brick and mortar office as well as virtually through a private HIPAA compliant portal. Or if you would like to find somebody in your area, then a good place to go is healthprofs.com. But by all means, find somebody and do the MRT.